Hey, and welcome to another rConfig tutorial video. Today we're going to talk about the initial setup of rConfig. So assuming that you have rConfig fully installed, you get to this login screen, what do you do next? So in this video, we're going to talk through 5 areas really quickly. We're going to talk through system settings, user accounts, we're going to get you up and going with a system backup, and we're going to add a device and test that device. So let's get straight into it. So let's get logged in. Now on my demo environment, you can see I've some devices already configured here. Ignore that. We're assuming that this is a brand new environment. So first thing you want to do is go to settings and let's check out some of the system settings. So the login banner, and this is the default login banner that we've configured with the system. You should change this if you need to. And the next thing is the system time offset. So this is a feature where we found some customers' servers are misaligned with their time zone. So this gives you the ability to realign rConfig output with your time zone. So if you're seeing rConfig reports or logs that are an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 hours off, it's probably to do with your system time zone. You can correct your system time zone, or you can use the system time offset here. Now, what's really important is that you configure the mail properly, okay? Because you want to get email alerts and notifications on various system events, such as configurations, downloading, backups, completing, etc. So we're going to do that here real quick, and we're going to demo it. So I have a mail service from a company called Sendinblue, really good email marketing service. And so we're going to set that up here. So we put in our SMTP server address. We put in our port number. Sorry, I have it here off screen. Who it's coming from. So in this case, Stephen at rConfig.com, and your email recipients. Now, just a quick comment here. Email recipients and any and all email recipients are separated by a semicolon will be added to all system notifications and alerts via email. All users configured in the users section, system users, will also get those emails. So all users will be informed of backups completing, all users will be informed of downloads, configurations being downloaded, both email recipients and users. Okay, so it's important to keep that in mind. We realize that you may need to email people that are not users of the system, okay, such as generic mailboxes, such as support@rconfig.com. For Sendinblue, I do need to configure authentication. So I'm going to set this to TLS, put in my username and my password, which I got off screen here, and then save this. Now what we're going to do is run the test real quick. So I have 2 tests here. You can test an email. Oops, let's just remove the semicolon. That's okay. And save and test. When you have multiple people in there, it accepts that fine, so no issues. So we sent a test email. We're going to send a test notification. It looks like they're fine. And if I am correct, they'll both pop into my Outlook and we get our notifications, which I'm seeing off screen. So that's all tested fine. So that's the email set up and tested. What we're going to do now is have a quick look at 1 or 2 more items in system settings and then move on to users. So you are able to set a default username and password for when you add devices, and we'll demo that in a few minutes. But you can set your default username and password here to whatever it needs to be for your environment. We realize that read-only accounts for looking at configurations can be the same across enterprises and companies. So that feature is there available for you. So it's always good to set it up early on. Logging and debugging settings can stay configured as default unless you're directed by support at rConfig otherwise. No configuration options for security at this time. All passwords are encrypted, and the API token section is for your rconfig.com API token. We'll go through that in another video. And in fact, we've touched on it already on the installation videos. So moving on to users. You must, when you install rConfig for the first time, set up your own user account and remove the default account. Okay, and it's just good practice to have the default account removed. These are default public credentials that anybody can guess, right? And frankly, even changing the password for the admin at rconfig.com, or on newer versions, it's at admin@domain.com. It's probably not a good idea. Just create a new account for yourself, as I've done here previously, with the administrator privilege. We'll talk about roles in a different video, and save it. And once that role is saved, log out, log in with the new account, test it, make sure it's operational, log back out, log in as, actually, I should say, once you're logged in as that new user, then you can delete the admin account. Okay. If you try to delete the admin account logged in as admin, it'll error out. Okay. You'll just get an error. So that's an important next step. The third thing to configure is backups. So going to the backup section, good practice when you've just installed rConfig, base configuration, not a lot done. We've done settings, SMTP, and users. Get a backup going. Just get a backup going right away. You can manually start a backup, and you'll see it's pretty quick, right? So if I look at the badge up here, that just jumped up to 2. And here's one we did earlier, and this is the one we did just right now. So perfect. So we had a system backup done. You do need to refresh the page to see the latest backup, but there it is. You can download that for archiving. On our roadmap, we'll have the option to save those backups automatically to an offsite location, cloud location, or whatever in the future. Once that backup is done, go ahead and set yourself a scheduled task backup. You do want your system backed up frequently. So head over. Now, here's one I did earlier. I'm just going to delete this quick, and then we're going to create a new scheduled task. And I'm going to do a whole video on scheduled tasks in a couple of weeks, but let's do one right now real quick. So create a task, call it, let's just say weekly backup, okay? And then task description, my weekly backup. And then, okay, so your task is going to be the last one here, full system backup, okay? The cron examples are broad examples of, once a week, once a day, twice a day kind of stuff, right? So we're going to pick once a week, and you can adjust the times, right? You say once a week at not midnight, but say 2 a.m. Okay? So you can do that here, and then make sure and tick the task complete notification, because you want to get those alerts, right, that the backups are completed. And click save, and that's it. Okay, very easy, very simple, very effective first task you should do very early on. And as you can see, 4 or 5 minutes into this, we're already we have a lot of important tasks completed. Final set of tasks is adding a device manually and verifying that rConfig can download from that device. So I'm going to head over to devices here. We have a bunch already configured, but we're going to add a brand new one. Okay. Call it router 1. Its IP address. Oops. 1.170. Select our vendor, our model, routers. So I'll go through some model category tags. I'll go through all those in a video in the coming weeks. We're going for telnet no enable template this particular time, and we're just going to set our prompt. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so we've added our device, currently status yellow, so the device hasn't been checked for reachability. So we're going to go in here and then do the final task, which is run the download now and observe the outcome. So a couple of things: config download completed, check the logs for more info. So we're going to go into configurations. We can see we've got 3 config files. That was 0. Into configurations, we've got our 3 new configuration cards here. We've got our latest download. So we're going to look at the list all files, and we're just going to have a quick look at these. So there's our show clock. That looks good. Show version. That looks good. And show run. That looks good. So everything looks good. So that's what. So we covered off what we wanted to today. We looked at system settings and getting our system settings up and test it. So we covered off what we wanted to today. We looked at system settings, mail settings, and banner settings. We looked at user accounts and how to set those up properly. We looked at our system backups, and then we added a device and verified that we could download from that device. So that's all. I'm going to run through this again. So we went through what we wanted to get through today. We went through system settings, user accounts, system backups. We added the device manually, and we verified that we could download from that device. So hopefully this video is useful. Looking forward to a few more videos in the next few weeks, getting into more detail on some of the areas we touched on today. Thanks for joining.